There's a fucking line here, girl.
Can you tell us a little bit about your characters? Where are they now, and what happened between the first movie and this?
It's only been 8 months, I think, or something like that since the last one. And speaking on Tara's behalf, she is just kind of trying to put Ghostface behind her and pretend like nothing ever really happened. I think she's eager to have a normal life again and feel like a normal girl. And obviously what she went through is very traumatic, but I don't think she's ready to face it or indulge in it and just wants it to be over as quickly as it all kind of happened.
Our character's Hayden plays Kirby, one of the legacy characters.
Yes, I come back as FBI agent Reed, and she's a badass. just the way I wanted her to come back. It's the way I wanted her to come back, and I think the way that fans wanted her to come back, because trauma either makes you, afraid of your own shadow, hide, run, or come out fighting, and she comes out fighting.
Oh, well, I was so pleased to get the call to join this franchise. The murders have moved from Woodsboro to the big city, and that's where you find my character. I'm NYPD detective on the case tracking down the Ghostface killer in New York City.
And Sam is, keeping her promise that she made at the end of the 5th movie, that she's like, she's gonna never leave Tara ever again. And she's a little bit extremist about that promise, and so she actually doesn't want to let Tara out of her sight now. And I think it's a natural response for like an older sister that had been absent from Tara's life for so many years. Now she's like, I'm here for you, and I'm gonna take care of you. But that becomes that creates a lot of friction between the sisters at the beginning. And you get to see them both, dealing with the trauma in different ways. And it's college, it's college for them. And Sam is kind of just hanging around and like working and trying to be mama hen, taking care of everyone.
Problem here, guy?
Tell me, how was it like to take Scream to a whole new location, to New York City?
Thrilling. It was so fun. It was the first thing we learned about the project, was that it was going to be set in New York, and we were hooked from the start. It was the number of just potential ideas that you could play with and explore. Just the location alone was so exciting to us. And then of course we read the script, and the character work was also so meaningful and deep and rich and significant that it felt like in between these huge sequences, which were also on the page, there wasn't filler. It was the stuff that was happening in between those set pieces was actually really, really meaningful and emotionally rich. And it just felt like such a complete thought to have these deep emotional connections happening, in between these insane set pieces. It felt like the movie just had an energy that we hadn't really experienced in the franchise before.
We've got to lure him in. We execute him. Hello.
How did you get involved into this project?
Well, to be honest, they called me out of the blue, so I couldn't believe it, and I said yes right away. But then they only shared part of the script with me. I got the script over time in 3 different parts, so they were very wary about letting the story out and so forth. So they had to sort of just test me to make sure that I was gonna be cool before they let me see the whole script.
I demanded to see the whole script.
But
I was but they did try to withhold from me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I need to know. I need to see the big picture.
Yeah. But to say all that, to join a storyline that's been running for 25 years. The last time we saw Kirby, she was a kid, right?
21.
Right, so it's amazing to have the story that supports a character returning like this. But for me to join a story that's now on its 3rd generation, as the investigator on the case, on this famous series of murders. So it's a great role to catch, really lucky.
You have an extraordinary chemistry on screen as sisters. Did you spend time together, or how did you work to achieve that?
It was really hard. It's really hard to get chemistry with Jenna.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'm a wall, honestly.
No, it's like the easiest thing ever in the world. From the moment that we met, we just clicked, and it was like, oh, this
Yeah.
girl is my sister. And she's
Instantly
my sister for
comfortable.
life. And
Yeah.
the love that you see on screen is real because we actually love each other, so it's so easy to play that. And we have so much fun.
Mindy, how do you know so much about scary movies?
Partly because of her uncle Randy, like he was the horror movie buff in the family. He knew the rules, he knew how to survive. And so she followed in his footsteps and wanted to carry his legacy. And also, Mindy is Gen Z. Gen Z, in some departments, they be smart.
Yeah, and horror is a really popular genre with Gen Z. Gen Z.
Genzra.
Yeah.
This isn't like any other Ghostface.
What is this place?
A shrine.
Hey, you've got Samara Weaving in the movie, which you have worked before with.
Yeah, I mean, that role was written for Samara. I think I'm like 99% sure, right? In our case, it was written for Samara. We'll check with Guy and Jamie. But yeah, we loved working with Sam on Ready or Not. So to have her come back for this was just a dream. And it was literally just us calling and being like, hey, we'd love you to be in this movie. And she, without even reading the script, was like, I'd love to be in it. Let's do it.
Play a game.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Maybe. Hey, then did you knew that your character survived before being cast for this film?
I more like demand
Willed her into existence.
Will things to happen. Yes. I asked for there to be an opening for her to come back. And then when I didn't hear about Scream 5, I came knocking. And I rang and I was like, hi, might still be alive. Could be useful.
Yeah.
Bring me in.
And they did.
Bring me in.
The return of Kirby.
I had this secret. There's a darkness inside of me. It followed me here.
There's more of everything that fans and the audience have liked of the Scream films. There's more blood, there's more action, suspense moments. But were you able to accomplish everything that you wanted to make?
Yeah, I really think so. I think it's a good question because I feel like, there's oftentimes, you leave a project and you feel like, we didn't quite land the plane on that moment, or we didn't quite achieve that thing that we'd hoped to achieve. And with this one, it's credit to the cast, credit to the crew. Like I think everything that we loved about the script is and the story is there in the movie. And I think so much of that was just being driven, I think, to surprise ourselves, right? Like to do things that were really surprising and challenging. And we're so happy that all of that stuff ended up in the movie.
But there's never been one like me, Gail.
And how does it feel to be someone with Latin origin starring in a film like this for both of you?
It's really incredible, honestly. I feel like oftentimes just being the side character, I like the way you put it in terms of kind of always wearing the flag on, becomes like a character's entire personality. What I really love about this franchise in general is that it features primarily strong women, but then also to see strong women of color and us represented in a light that's positive and also leading is, I think, really, really impactful, but then also accurate. That's what the world looks like. Yeah. This is what it is. This is, everyone looks a bit different, and I don't think that it needs to be acknowledged or, it doesn't feel force-fed. It feels very natural, which it is.
But it does feel very, beautiful to have the core four be for people of color.
Yes.
As the new leads of this franchise that had predominantly white leads for most of the 25 years. So the fact that now we're stepping in and representing a bunch of people that love this franchise but never saw themselves in it, I think is beautiful that we get to do that.
You want me. So let's finish this.
How was the research? How many times did you have to watch the previous films to get the tone correct and do what you wanted?
I mean, I feel like that the previous movies are just in our blood at this point. We've watched them endlessly over the past, few years, especially. And going into this one, we did kind of make a conscious choice to follow, to do our version of Scream. Whereas the last one, we wanted to make sure it was very much respectful to Wes and respectful to what Kevin had set up. With this one, we felt like in the same way that Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4 continue to evolve and subvert expectations, we're like, we need to now do that too. We can't, play the hits again. We have to go another direction, and hopefully people will be along for the ride.
That's why I'm gonna shoot you in the fucking head.
Thank you a lot and congratulations. Felicidades, gracias.
Gracias.
Bye.